Today is 100th episode of this podcast, OTech Talks.tv. It's unimaginable, frankly. Back in 2015, early 2015, I think I started this podcast. And it was to just share and learn from with each other. The idea came from I started listening some podcast while I was driving from Dubai to Abu Dhabi for different my projects, customer engagements. And before we will go to intro, I just want to share and say thank you so much for every one of you. I'm publishing my 100th podcast session, and I just want to say that everyone who has played a role in this journey, because your feedback and your comments were the only reason which were leading me to keep recording and keep sharing these sessions. I'm a full-time employee, and it is challenging to record these sessions. And when I say challenging, it is really challenging, because with your full-time job, this is what I was taking as a passion or a hobby, to do something, to learn something new on technology front, digital transformation and all. As a tech geek, as a learner, lifelong learner, which I usually, and then based on those learnings, which I usually was doing on the weekends, that I was recording these podcasts. And then it's not about recording and then you need to prepare it and then you need to publish it. That's the reason, sometime it got delay, or even a few months I was not able to record. However, this podcast and my blog keep me pushing me, inspiring me from you guys. And even now the number of guests are started coming to the podcast, to the show. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to all of them. This is all your feedback and your support. I don't have words to say. I just can say, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly with the suggestions on the areas you want me to cover during the sessions. And you want to be to the guest on the show, you are most welcome. Just ping me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, or on the otechtalks.tv. That's a personal blog. It's a journal. The whole idea was, when we started it, just to work, do a sandbox, do something, and then based on those learnings, share with you guys. Let's now hear the intro, and then we'll come back to our topic of today, which we will continue the topic which we started, cloud adoption frameworks. And today we will discuss some of the highlights of the cloud adoption frameworks from different vendors. Let's hear the intro.
Welcome to the OTech Talks podcast, where it's all about working on technologies. You will hear the latest tech information, and your host, Kashif Manzoor, brings together product overviews, how-tos, best practices, tips and tricks, and troubleshooting techniques.
Welcome to otechtalks.tv. If you're new to the show or an existing audience, Open Tech Talks is your weekly sandbox for technology insights, experimentation, and inspiration, with the primary objective of learning and sharing. It's a sandbox. It's really what we learn, what we encounter for digital transformation of different organizations, to help them, to support them, to transform their business for a better world, for a better business. That's what I do, my day-to-day job. I learn and share. I work with different customers, different colleagues, my colleagues, friends. I learn from them, and that's what I'm sharing it. And just to say thank you so much. It's 100th podcast session. I didn't have a clear visibility at that time when I started it. that it will be reaching to 100 session. But I was having a belief that whatever I'm doing it's on the right track. It's learning and sharing with each other. So whatever the technology, clouds, digital transformation, machine learning, AI, whatever, that's all I'm doing right now. Learning from each other. Thank you so much for sharing your feedback. I think I already made an announcement. So we have started a weekly newsletter. So if you want to have the insights or updates on the world of cloud, you just need to go to www.otechtalks.tv/cloud-newsletter, and you can subscribe over there, where you will get every week latest news, articles, tutorials, videos in the field of Oracle, or in the field of, not as a field of Oracle, in the technology, cloud technologies, or specifically to Oracle technologies. We have already published 2 on October 1st and September 24th. Third is going to come this week, so please join for that. Now let's go back to our topic of today, which is it's a second part of Cloud Adoption Framework. Now, I think I wanted to share even before starting the Cloud Adoption Framework, because it's 100th episode. So to just share with you some of the story behind, there is a famous quote: "There's only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve, the fear of failure." And that was also with me, that when I started it was always in my mind that I don't know if someone will listen it or not. But today, as of the statistics, there are 40,000 plus downloads of this show. And that gives me, and the feedback and the comments you keep sharing with me, that inspire me, that motivate me, right? That's what I am doing it. So only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly. That's what I can say. Some of the things which teach me during this show recording, and that's what I am it is enforcing me to keep doing it. So I think that's it. I may be becoming a more emotional on to the 100th show, but let's continue with that one. So if what we have done it previously during the previous session, that was 99, we have covered the cloud adoption frameworks. That's the proven guidance for your cloud journey. And it's a set of best practices, tools, and guides that most of the public cloud vendors publish. And these adoption frameworks are easy to assist organization to adapt to public cloud, easily and faster. That's why these cloud adoption frameworks were introduced. And as we discussed, most of the organizations, even the cloud vendors, they have done it and they have released it. So in session number 99, it's a part 2 session of the cloud adoption journey. So what we had is, what was enterprise cloud adoption framework, what the common cloud adoption frameworks are available, why frameworks are important for journey to cloud, and how different cloud vendors are treating these frameworks. So this is what we covered in our previous session, which was session number 99. Now what we are going to do today, that we will go into and cover the sessions of the cloud adoption frameworks from a famous vendors and what they're talking about, very high level, and then I will add in the show notes the references. So every cloud vendor, starting from Oracle, Azure, Amazon, IBM, Google, everyone has released their cloud adoption framework. So we'll start with the Oracle on high level. So if you go to oracle.com cloud adoption framework, that's a card about, it's like a guidance for each step in your cloud journey. And it's talks about 9 steps. We're starting from the first step as explore OCI values, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Value. What is the first security architecture? what is the purpose-built cloud for any applications, leading cloud economics, Oracle Cloud versus AWS or Oracle technical, case studies. And then you define your cloud strategy, where the most important session is discovery, assessment, and planning guide. And I think that's very common. If you recall our previous session where we talk about, why doing a cloud assessment and discovery is important. And that's what, as a first step, Oracle's cloud adoption framework is talking about. The discovery and assessment, which is called as planning guide, that how you will do the assessment of your current infrastructure. And it covers the 5 steps, evaluation, develop a cloud adoption strategy, discovery, assessment, and planning, and then go for implementation, operations, and optimization. So that's the second step in the cloud adoption framework. Best practice framework for OCI, that's then plan your path forward. That's the third step, where is what are the OCI services, end-to-end SLAs, explore the OCI architecture center. Fourth step is getting started with OCI. If you want to get training, certification, what are the key concepts and terminologies, documentation, migrate your workloads. Then the fifth step is how you will be migrating your workloads, on-premise Oracle applications to OCI, ISV apps, databases, custom apps, VMware workloads. All these are, and what are the free services like Oracle Cloud Lift services are available to support your workload migrations. Modernize applications. That a sixth step is developer guides, Oracle Developer Resource Center, modernization, architect microservices. That's the sixth step. So manage your environment, and then once you've done that one, then it goes to manage your environment, guides, operations, how you manage it, and then reducing risk and improve governance. What are the OCI security guides, compliance guides, GRC training, certifications, and then innovate further. How you can use the cloud native services or VMware solutions, or even artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science. So if we start from exploring the OCI value for a business point of view, defining your cloud strategy, planning your path, and then how to get started with OCI, how you will migrate your workloads, what are the offers available, how you will modernize your applications, and then how you're going to manage the environments, and then the reducing risk and improving governance, and the last is innovation. When you want to move forward on that one. That's how the Oracle's cloud adoption framework is covering. And it's the way standard guide says, it's framework is guides, which helps to with the cloud resources, best practices, tutorials, enablement tools. Because this framework helps organizations define a cloud strategy, plan for successful cloud migration, and ensure complete manageability of cloud operations and cloud environments. So that's the key objective of cloud adoption framework from Oracle. Then there are a number of other initiatives built and deployed on OCI, how OCI addresses customer challenges and all that one, starting from application upgrades, hardware refresh point of view. But most important thing is these are the 9 steps which will help you to start with the cloud adoption framework from Oracle. Now let's go and check the other cloud vendors adoption framework. The other adoption framework in the list is, the first one is with us. Let's go with the Amazon Web Services AWS Cloud Adoption Framework. Now the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework, it breaks adoption process into 6 perspectives, divided between 2 categories, like business capabilities and technical capabilities. What they talk about from business capabilities, it's from business. This aspect is designed to ensure that cloud migration is aligned with business needs. It's similar to the other cloud. And then from a people point of view, business, people, and governance, portfolio, program. That's how under these three categories, which are prospective, they're calling us. So people is the suspect focuses on employees and deals with the training and personal development, focus on the cloud. Governance is this aspect involves portfolio management as well as project and program management. Focuses on driving cloud adoption, program management, how cloud requires rapid deployment, development, organization. So these are the business capabilities of AWS. Then technical capabilities, it's platform to work in the cloud, including architecture, network, storage, database features. That's all it covers. Then security in cloud migration, how organization needs to be aware, the responsibility of security, vendors' area of responsibility, and customers' own area of responsibilities. And then it also covers the identity and access management, detection and monitoring, infrastructure security, data protection, incident response. The third capabilities is operations. This aspect considers the current status of operations and defines the steps necessary to make operations cloud ready. Service monitoring, application performance monitoring, resource inventory management, change and release management, reporting and analytics, and business continuity, disaster recovery. So in short, the AWS has covered the 6 perspectives divided between business capabilities and technical capabilities. That's how AWS is covering that one. AWS Cloud Adoption Framework, starting from envision to align and then launch and then realize value. But these are categorically from a high level point of view. But it goes into perspectives, and these perspectives are 6 areas of focus, which we already discussed: business perspective, people, governance, platform, security, operations, and resources. And then it goes into more detail under each perspective, that what are the key areas covered. So if you want to learn about AWS, then you need to go to AWS Cloud Adoption Framework, and I will add all the links into show notes. That's about the AWS Adoption Framework, and I'm just giving you high level context because in each vendor has a more detailed resources and all that one. So if this topic require more attention and more detailed coverage, then maybe based on your feedback we will go in a more detailed discussions. But I think at this point of time it should be okay to understand from a high level point of view. Now let's go to our third adoption framework, and we will cover Microsoft Cloud Adoption Framework for Azure. And it's a guidance, it's a set of tools which are part of the Cloud Adoption Framework, and it helps you create and implement the business and technology strategies for your organization in the cloud. It provides best practices, documentation, and tools that the cloud architect, professionals, and business decision makers need to make decisions during the cloud adoption journey. Again, it's definitely depends on your business objectives, how you can prepare your organizations for the cloud, and how you will migrating to the cloud and optimizing it. And ideally, these are covered, the adoption journey is covered into 6 steps, which is starting from define the strategy. What is your motivation and what are the business drivers, cloud economics, that why you want to have a cloud. And then what are your business outcomes which you want to get out of it. And then what is your defining your business justification. Either it's a business case, creating a financial model, project business impact for your cloud adoption strategy. And then it goes to define strategy, plan, ready, adopt, govern, manage. So we covered the defined strategy. Now we'll go to plan. When we say plan, it's again to taking inventory of your digital state. Your as is assessment, discovery. And then you will go to creating your cloud adoption plan, based on your prioritizing workload. And if you remember our earlier sessions, we were talking about workload centric approach. And then defining skills and support readiness. What are the skills you need it to be ready? So that's under the plan stage. And then from the ready point of view, it's prepare your cloud environment, learn how to construct your Azure landing zone with two possible paths, enterprise scale or start small and expand. Then if we talk about adopt stage, it's migration. This migration is what are the workloads or the different applications you want to migrate. And then innovation, it's where you want to have your digital state to drive business and product innovation. From a infrastructure deployment point of view, infrastructure, operations, governance, all these are area covered under the innovation. From a govern state point of view, or the fifth, that's basically process or step, how you will benchmark and improve your governance. You will be having a relevant documentation, skill building, and then identifying your security infrastructure and all those requirements. And then how you will be establishing a governance practices, starting from initial practices with the MVP, and then identifying the business risks and define risk tolerances. So all this is part of the govern stage. Then you will have a manage. When you use the cloud adoption framework methodology for management, all workloads are classified by criticality and business value and measured through an impact analysis. From a monitoring point of view, enable data collection, management point of view, and resiliency point of view. So enable a resilient platform. So all these areas are covered under the manage phase. So just to summarize, 6 steps from defining strategy to planning, readiness, adopt, governance, and management. That's what Microsoft Azure Cloud Adoption Framework. And I will add into the show notes. Now let's go to the next cloud vendor. Let's go to Google. Google Adoption Cloud Framework. It's again, help you to identify key activities and objectives that reliably accelerate your cloud journey. And the Cloud Adoption Framework from Oracle, it has basically themes, which they called as 4 themes, 3 phases. Now the themes are starting from learn, lead, scale, and secure. And when they start learn, the quality and scale of learning programs, you have to upskill your technical teams. Lead is to the extent to which IT teams are supported by a mandate from leadership to migrate to cloud. You need to have they got executive sponsorship. How are your cloud projects budgeted, governed, and assessed? Scale, the extent to which you used cloud native services that reduce operational overhead and automate manual processes and policies. How your cloud business based services provision, how its capacity planning is done, that's scaling. And secure is the capability to protect your services from unauthorized and inappropriate access, with the multi-layered identity-centric security models and all that. What technology is used, what strategies govern the whole. So that's the 4 themes. And then there are 3 basically, which we called as phases from a Google Cloud Adoption Framework. And these 3 phases are talking about tactical, individual workloads are in place, but no coherent plan, all of them with a strategy for building out the future. So tactical planning. So this focus is on reducing the cost of discrete systems and getting to the cloud with minimal disruption. Strategic, a broader vision governs individual workloads which are designed and developed with an eye on the future needs and scale. You have to begin to embrace change, the people, process, all those are covered under that one. So strategic point of view, IT teams are, from that angles. Increasing the values for cloud adoption and business processes. And the third is the third phase is transformational. With the cloud operations functioning smoothly, you have turned your attention to integrating the data and insights from working now in the cloud. So existing data is transparently shared, new data is collected and analyzed. So IT is no longer a cost center but has become instead of a partner to the business. So that's where it talks about transformational phase. So in the technical phase, you are reducing costs with quick return on investment and little disruption to your IT organization. And this is short-term goal. In the strategic phase, you increase the value delivered by your IT organization by streamlining operations to be both more efficient and more effective. And this is a mid-term goal. And in the transformational phase, your IT organization becomes an engine of innovation, making it a partner to the business. This is a long-term goal. So that's how it's called from a learn, lead, scale, secure, 4 and 3 phases to that one. 4 themes: learn, lead, scale, and secure. And then covering from a tactical, strategic, transformational point of view. It could be, from a third party, learn, organized training, peer learning, lead is, teams by function, new cross-functional cloud teams, cross-functional features teams. Scaling change is slow, risky. Templates ensure good governance. Security, fear of public internet, but trust in private networks. All those areas are covered under these 3 phases. Definitely, they could talk about people, processes, and technology. The famous digital transformation pyramids, or we can talk about, including that's how the cloud adoption framework from Google it works, and it has all the vendors have quite strong and very amazing guides which are available on their relevant notes, relevant pages. So you can go and read about in a more detailed way. And frankly, what I'm doing I have done this part. I have gone through all the cloud vendors and understood, although there are different phases, what are the key themes they're talking about. So that's important message for all of us. So as being a cloud architect or a solution architect, you need to understand, and these are phases and areas. Now let's go to the next cloud vendor which we have with us, and let's see IBM, because IBM also have the cloud adoption playbook which they talk about. IBM is calling as cloud adoption playbook, and these are the strategies for transforming organizations with the cloud. And they have a quite solid and big book which is they called as 275 pages IBM cloud playbook. Basically, it's a cloud adoption playbook, proven strategies for your transforming your organization with the cloud. And it has a framework. The framework, it's again focusing on the themes, and the themes are think and envision the transformation, which they talk about in establishing strategic intent, balance the transformation, talking about decide and what works for you, and then thrive on new foundation, realize strategic outcomes. So that these are the 3 themes for the cloud adoption framework. And then a set of context and elements talks about from an adoption point of view. It again covers, what are the challenges you mean, key dimensions of the cloud adoption, but primarily they are covered culture and organization, architecture and technology, security and compliance, emerging innovation spaces, methodology, service management and operations, governance. So these are dimensions of adoption framework. And then definitely it talks about steps in the adoption journey, strategic intent, strategic opportunities, ideate and prioritize, pilot and prove, scale, strategic outcomes. But these are some of the steps which they mentioned as part of the cloud adoption framework. And then it talks about key actions from the framework, involve the right people, what you need to part of the cloud adoption, to achieve the business and technology alignment, take a holistic approach across dimensions, don't go with the silos approach, and then client-centered approach. Open yourself for the new possibilities. How you can create positive change with existing ways of doing things and all that one. And let's talk about I think from IBM Cloud Adoption Framework: process, technology, operations, people, compliance, and covering methodology, service management, and operations. And I will add into the show notes so you can go and read about the Cloud Adoption Framework that talks about IBM. And this one is available on Amazon, and even in freely available on IBM if you wanted to buy that one. So that's what we covered for the IBM. And to just continue the discussion on Alibaba Cloud, I think they also have, which they talk about cloud methodology. And in July 2021, the Alibaba Cloud and China Academy for Information and Communications Technology, they jointly released Cloud Adoption Framework white paper at the China Internet Conference Digital Governance Forum. And I think I tried to find the paper, but I didn't get it. It wasn't so. But it talks about from a background and solution architecture point of view, system assessment, migration design, migration implementation, and all that one. So maybe this I will keep it for the next time. How you will be designing a landing zone, enterprise cloud first step, and all those areas are covered as part of the Cloud Adoption Framework from Alibaba.com. So that Alibaba.cloud. So that's it, I think, as of now. So we have covered all the leading cloud vendors, starting from Oracle, Azure, Amazon Cloud, IBM. So most probably the most famous one. So we have covered Cloud Adoption Framework. And let me see if we can. I haven't gone through the other one, frankly. So it's for all of you to take action, and I will add all in the show notes. So all the documents and the references from where the data is taken, I will add into the show notes. So with this, our 100th show is over. Thank you so much once again, and so many times. I'm humbled. And thank you so much, all the friends, colleagues, audiences, which you're part of this journey. And we'll continue to learn. And if you want to listen the first part of Cloud Adoption Framework, that's at session number 99. If you will go to otechtalks.tv, then you will find out the Cloud Adoption Framework. And please share your feedback, rate this show on the Apple Podcast or even Spotify or Google. This show is available now into a lot of podcast directories. So thank you so much. Have a blessed life.
Thanks for listening to the OTech Talks podcast, and be part of Tech Talks at otechtalks.tv. It's a turf to share ideas, insights, and innovations.